Okay, greetings. This is Classic Games Redefined. My name's Rich. Yet another game, because we're doing a bunch of intrigue slash traitor slash betrayal games. I figured I'd look at another one here. This one's a different animal than the other ones we looked at, partly because how it's set up here. See, what normally you have in a traitor game, unless you're doing something else, which is like I showed another one, which is a betrayal format where consciously defect, like in Castle Panic. Beginning of the game, you're a hidden traitor, and you're trying to undermine things of other players in the game, secretly working that way against them. What you have with Betrayal in a House on a Hill is something that's different. It was so different, in fact, I was looking for more traitor-type games that I had the game originally, got rid of it. Then it came out second edition, realizing that it stood out differently. What you have here is that the game system itself will pick who the traitor is midway through play. So you're going to have somebody who's going to work against the other players in the game. But they don't know at the start of the game they're doing it. So that's actually an interesting element that you have in the game here. And as a result of that, it stands out as unique. But that alone isn't a reason to consider looking at it, why we're doing it. There's several other things here. So, what you have here, and just bear with me one second, I'm just gonna, there we go, just gonna move this. I'm just moving some up, make a little bit of my notes for the annotation we're gonna be adding. You're about to see pop up here, or if it hasn't yet. Anyhow. The theming is really good. This is one of the things I have here. This game represents your typical horror movie tropes and stuff in it with different scenarios. There's like 50 plus. And the system will the theming with that. And you will have different scenarios, etc. that you're playing through the determined traitor based upon the context of the way the map is. And if you see here, there's no map on it. And I'm using Tabletop Simulator for the camera work. I couldn't seem to find the tiles. But what you'll see here is you're going to start out at an entryway, I believe here. And you're going to end up exploring. And you'll be drawing tiles out and building the mansion you have on top here. And there's different rooms that do different things. Actually, here we go. I think we found one. You would draw it here. And we zoom in. And you're building it. So then you would go here. And then you'd put it down. You add it to the level. And that's an area. And you would draw it. And you build more. And you build the mansion this way. And you're exploring. So you have an element of an exploring here. Which is actually interesting. And throws elements about the way the system, the game system generates you. And the challenges you face of playing a mansion you don't know what you're running at. So there's a sense of adventure to that, because there'll be scenarios that pop up. And then there's a timer that goes off. Eventually, as certain things happen in the game, the game system will all of a sudden just switch over, and it goes, oh, it's traitor time, so the traitor comes in. There's also, as part of the exploring, let's go down here, there's items you can get. You see, you have the event deck, which will have, and these are omens that pop up, so many. You have an items deck, you find items, and certain things that happen when you go into certain rooms. And you have that. And then also what you have here is, besides those elements, let's see if I'm missing anything else. No, those are main points I was going over. There was one more I want to go over. You have these characters here. You see these characters, for example. They have different abilities. And yeah, they have different, they have different ratings here. And higher and lower. And you could be attacked on sanity or stamina or anything else. And it goes on like that. So that's what you're doing. You're drawing the tiles, you're putting them out here, building and exploring. I know one thing that happened early on was the first edition also had some errata. So they did a second edition, streamlined some stuff and cleaned it up. So anyhow. So there's a lot of good here. If you want a game that the game system picks a traitor midway through and then players work for it. Oh, one more thing about that. The scenarios. Which we don't know the traitor at the beginning, but we have with the scenarios at this here is that there's a bunch of them. I believe at least 50. I think I might have mentioned this before. But the thing is that you don't know that all of a sudden you're playing across, particularly if you haven't played the scenarios before, you're going to have a hidden goal, and you don't know what your opponents are after. So it'll work that way. And then the players are handed different books, so it has a good adventure theme to it and play mechanics. So anyhow, the core points of the exploring map, that's different every time you play. The different scenarios that pop up. The way the fact that the traitor mechanism works is a different thing. I think there's one scenario and the other one where there's actually a hidden traitor, but it works a little bit differently here. And all of a sudden the system does it, so you have it. It's like one person goes mad, and they didn't realize they're villains. So anyhow, that's actually an interesting thing. And then the characters have different attributes. You can play different characters. So, okay, that's about it. Not much more to say here. As I say, go check it out. We'll have a link below to Board Game Geek on the game here. So, that's about it. So, I do want to thank you for watching. And may your die always roll 5.